$100 on the table, and they got me 20-something points. With 3 missing starters on the Rams' offensive line against that Cowboys pass rush, whew, Matthew Stafford passed for 308 yards, was sacked 5 times. The Cowboys defense allowed just 1 touchdown in the 5th straight game. Here is Rams head coach, defending Super Bowl champion head coach, Sean McVay at the postgame presser.
This is some adversity that we're facing right now as a football team. You find out a lot about people when you do go through that. I'm going to continue to stand up here and do the best I can for this team. It's not good enough right now. I'll never pretend that it is. But there are guys that are continuing to compete to the best of their ability. And we got to get everybody doing that, everybody staying to compete to the best of their ability and really being their best regardless of the circumstances. So
the question here is, Key, before we get to Cooper Rush doing exactly what Keyshawn Johnson and Bill Parcells would say, right? 6 for 10, whatever it was, not a lot of 10 for 16, 100 yards, don't turn the ball over, right? What has happened to the Rams offense?
Again, they got to figure out their identity. Like Sean says, it's adversity. They're facing some adversity now. Certainly is going to see what they can do in terms of stepping up, but you cannot continue. And I understand Cooper Kupp went 70, and he showed speed and all that, but you cannot continue to just rely on Cooper Kupp. And they got to fix their offensive line. They've got to fix their offensive line. They've got offensive line issues. What's so funny is I saw Big Andrew Whitworth at dinner the other night, and I told him, I said, man, you need to go come on out of retirement, doggy. And I touched him. Solid. He's ready to go right now for the Rams if they pick up the phone.
Harry, that Rams offense, people forget now, but before Whitworth got there, it just didn't work. When they brought in Whitworth, who was considered already in his 30s, like you were going to give him a long-term deal, the Giants passed on him for that reason, played till he's 100 years old. As soon as he got there, the offense snapped into form, right? Harry, the offensive line is banged up. They can't do anything.
Yeah, also I think 2 guys, Andrew Whitworth and then Austin Corbett. Those are 2 guys who was on their offensive line that they're truly missing on top of being banged up. Here's another thing that I don't think a lot of people are paying attention to. The trade, when they traded Robert Woods to the Tennessee Titans, is really hurting this football team. Robert Woods did a lot of things for this team, and you also need a secondary guy. And a lot of people are saying, why isn't Sean McVay getting Allen Robinson involved? Can we face reality? Maybe Allen Robinson is not that guy like that, because you got to understand the offense that they run now. It demands small, quicker guys that are route runners that can get open, not jump ball receivers. And I'm seeing Allen Robinson, like he had a skinny post yesterday, right, Key?
Yeah.
He's doing all this pity-patting at the top of the route. You a big-body receiver. Man, stick your foot in the ground and cross face and make your body big and catch that ball for a touchdown.
Allen Robinson, from everything I'm hearing, Harry, he's doing everything right. He's extremely smart, all of those sort of things. It's just Sean has to get him involved, and they haven't really figured out how to do that yet. And maybe some of it is what you're saying in terms of Robert Woods, because Robert Woods is a lot like OBJ, where you can put your foot in the ground, you can do all sorts of things and wiggle, cut, run shallow crosses, climb the ladder, where Allen Robinson is not that guy like that.
And especially when you're having offensive line problems, if you're running an outside zone blocking scheme, you need a receiver who can block.
Yeah,
Robert Woods, a football player. He and Cooper Kupp coexisted perfectly. And when they lost Robert Woods to injury, coincidentally, they already had OBJ on the roster. OBJ's a football player. He'll do a lot of the same stuff, the not glamorous stuff that they need done.
Max.
Right. Yeah.
Really quick, here's something that transpired yesterday we got to pay attention to. 9 points came off a sack fumble return for a touchdown and a block punt. Think about that.
Hey,
9 points that the Dallas Cowboys got.
All I need my quarterback
special teams and defense.
Harry, all I need my quarterback to do is be 16-19, a buck and some change, and no turnovers, and a 1-yard plunge for a touchdown, and we're going to get out the building.
You basically just described Cooper Rush.
We're going to get out the building with a solid defense. I'm not looking for a 300-yard passer. I don't need that.
Don't need it.
I don't need it.
If you have it, great, but you don't need it.
If I can run the ball with and as an offensive mind and a head coach, you start getting caught up in thinking that that's the way to go. I remember, man, as a player, now Harry, would you know me? Would you think that I was a reverse runner? Probably not, right? You think big old dude, he ain't running no reverse. In their mind, they get caught up. All they want to do is give Dedrick Ward and Wayne Corbett the reverse because they're smaller. Little. And I went to the car. I said, man, come on, man. What y'all doing?
Which coach?
Bill. I said, what are y'all doing?
And what Bill say? Bill Parcells.
And then they did it. First time I touched the house call 40-yard touchdown against Carolina. And them dudes never touched another reverse as long as I was around. But because they get caught up in their ways.
Yes.
And they get caught up in it.
And that's Bill Parcells, one of the greatest coaches who ever lived.
And Max, so what happens with Dak Prescott is they get him back, they start thinking they got to open up the playbook. Instead of saying we just need him to be 16 to 22,
there you go.
$170 and a 1-yard plunge and a screen for a touchdown. And that's it.
That's all you need. Here's
Coach it the same way.
What I would take from what Key is saying, Harry, to me is it's part of a bigger point, which is our knowledge of what wins a football game is not so perfect that everyone understands this magic formula so perfectly that if something's clicking and it's working, like, I think it takes some arrogance to go and mess with it. Oh, we can make it even better. If it's working, it's working. Who knows why everything's clicking just right? But why would you put your hands on it if it is?
Hey, Harry, what does it look like in San Francisco?
Yeah, same thing you just said.
Exactly.
Thing.
Yep.
They got a lights-out defense, and that's it. What was it like for Peyton Manning at the end?
Same thing. And he had nothing left.
Denver Broncos.
It's the same thing. The defense.
Tom Brady in the beginning.
It's the defense, and then you just don't make any damn mistakes, and you're fine. You get out of there with a W.
With a W, and Cooper Rush in his career as a starter, 1 start last year and so far 4 this year, has nothing but W's. Got nothing but W's.
I mean, he threw a nice ball at Gallup on the sideline, Harry, and Gallup was able to get the feet down and everything.
Well, what about the one that CD Lamb that CD dropped on the 3rd and 4th? That was a hell of a ball too on a bench route.
CD, man, he need to go put his hands in some ice or something.
No, rice bucket. Get them hands stronger.
Yeah, that's true too.
I got one here right in my weight room, right across the hallway right there. I go give it to him. Key, be quiet. Tell me something. You created a rice bucket.
To the 5, touchdown Giants.
But that doesn't mean that you can take them lightly.
We believe in ourselves, but how the outside or how other people view us, I don't think we're concerned with that.
He's done a really good job for our football team, and the things that we've asked him to do, he's done them well. And I'm glad he's our quarterback.
They may be the story of the young season so far.
Giants 27, Packers 22. Keyshawn J. Willimax, ESPN Radio, Sirius XM Channel 80. If you have a phone in your pocket right now, you're like, damn, I want to hear these guys, but I'm not in the car. I got to get out of the car. Just go to the ESPN app. Click it. Now you'll see more on the lower right-hand corner. Hit that. Scroll down to listen live. If you have a phone in your pocket, you can hear us anywhere live. Now, and we're presented by Progressive Insurance. Look, they're in London, first of all. Funky things can happen, right?
Yo, chum.
What's that? Oh, yeah. I didn't.
Good day there, Mike.
King's English. Funky things can happen overseas. No one really has a home game, et cetera, et cetera. But these Giants play with character. They're going to find out about you. And the Packers came up short. So I got to ask.
But the Green Bay Packers fan base is strong in London.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Oh, you can see it.
Cheeseheads was
out.
Yes.
Yeah.
Good cheese over there too, by the way.
Yeah, that's right. Key knows about food all around the world. But so look, going into the game, the first thing, maybe the Giants are actually good, right? Like they
were number 9 on my ranking, Max.
They were number 9 on Key's real rankings last week. We'll see where they are this week. Daboll, I feel like, breathed life into the team right from the get-go when Saquon, he's like, we're going to go for the 2-point conversion early on, give him the ball, and Saquon made it. Even if he didn't, though, the coach is showing something the fans want to see, the team wants to see, that kind of put a little wind at their backs, and they've been a character team since then.
Yeah, but they became alive when they hired him.
Yeah.
All of a sudden, as soon as they got the hire, right. And I was telling you the whole time when they were talking about Daboll as a candidate, I'm like, that's the dude right there. You want to try to get a young quarterback to develop to some degree then he's the new quarterback guy, clearly. And so whenever you have a coach that somebody believes in, his press conference alone, you could just the way he looks. I mean, I'm not beating up on Joe Judge, but it's not the same.
It rings true as soon as he opens his mouth.
Presence that when somebody walk in the building, and you know that, Harry, you're like, oh, I could fool with him. He's the guy.
So we're going to get to the Giants a little bit later, and Daboll and the whole thing, and Daniel Jones, who's showing me something. He's turning my head around. But tough performance. But what about the Packers for a second? Because of the existence of Aaron Rodgers, if you look among the odds-on favorites every single year, or the favorites every year, they're even on bad years, they're top 5, 6, 7, even when the team doesn't look because of Aaron Rodgers. But should we be concerned? First of all, let me start with this. Key, I'm going to start with you. Harry, I want to hear from you on this. Are the Packers, Key, one of the best teams in the NFL, yes or no?
I think they still are one of the better teams. Giants might be better than what we thought they were, but I think the Packers are still one of the better teams. They're in a